Hey everybody, welcome to this week's package workshop. This is the 5th package workshop. We're going to be running through a few packages this week which will hopefully help improve retention in your game. So these packages should help to keep players more engaged with your game, more competitive with other players, and keep them coming back again and again rather than just coming in for one session. So without further ado, we should get started. Let's switch to the camera. So we're here today with Sean. Sean, say hello. There he is in the hub.
I'm busy chucking props at Slatterburn.
Oh, nice. So, I think we should start by just creating a new empty game that we can start using and building some of these packages in. So I'll go over to my Create tab, create a new empty game. What should we call this, Sean? Just Package Workshop?
Best, most inventive name.
Yep. I even gave it a number.
Ooh.
Number 5. Let's choose a fun picture for it. Now while we load into that, it's worth mentioning, if you haven't caught it already, that the 3rd issue of the Crayta comic has been released, which is available now on our website at crayta.com. And there should be links to that. There should be the URL in the game as well on the news feed and also in Discord.
I will also link to it.
And Sean will link to it in the chat.
Unless someone beats you to it.
Well, it won't be me, so there you go.
Oh,
Oh, Nat beat you. Oh.
That's fair.
Okay, so Sean, first package is one of yours, the achievements package. Do you want to talk us through that as we load in?
Okay, are you... Okay, yeah, you can blame me in as well. Yeah, so it was a basic thing that I've been looking at building, which is, you know, your basic achievements that you get on things like platforms like PlayStation, Xbox. You know, everyone knows what achievements are. So this is a fairly user-friendly and simple implementation of that. So you can just basically add any achievements to your game. You can modify with their progress base. So you can say like collect 10 things to get an achievement, or if they're just binary, so reach level 6 to get this achievement. There's also a nice little additive that you can mark them as secret, so players can't tell what the achievement is until they get them, which is pretty good for like treasure hunting and completionism.
Okay, Sean.
Nice little bit.
That should have been shared with you now if you want to just hop in.
Absolutely.
Oh, I just realised. Probably don't have the audio coming out properly. Let's see if that's any better.
Womp, womp. Okay, here we go.
Hello. Okay, right. So first thing we want to do is install your package, because this is one that's already made. What's it called? Achievements. Search for that in the community tab. NUI Achievements adds a flexible achievement system to your game. Let's go for that. This should also have a write-up on the Crayta forum. Is that right, Sean?
Yep, I got. There's a whole guide on there, and it contains a README file as well. So if you want to look in game with that and go to the forum.
Awesome. I can see that right here.
Love me some README files.
Whoa, there's loads of credits in it as well.
Oh yeah, I was using some free
I'm
icons.
in them.
Well, you made sure it wasn't terrible, so.
I did. I pretended to open it and pretended to look through it. Okay, so we've got an empty game. How can I add achievements to this, Sean? What do I do?
So it should be hopefully nice and simple. You should, in the template section, there should be NUI achievements template. You just drag that onto your user.
Okie dokie. And that is a script folder, so that comes with an achievements control script, an achievement unlock UI, and achievement screen. Okay?
Yep, so if you click on the parent ones, NUI achievement, and it will come up with the achievement screen, which is pretty basic and rudimentary.
There we go.
That should show you the basic achievement types. So it's your standard achievement. You got an icon, title, and some text about it, and it's a binary one. So you flip that on, and you got the progress run just below it. So collect 10 of something to get something else, and then there's a secret blurred out one, super secret, which you won't know what it is until you get it.
But I can just look in the widget. I'm going to look in the widget.
You could just look in the widget, but you shouldn't do that.
But I'm doing it.
In terms of config,
it says a super secret achievement.
No, that's the opposite of what you should be doing.
Okay, sorry. Carry on.
So click, make sure you got that clicked again, and then you
Mhm.
should have the achievements controller on the right.
The script. Yep.
Yep. So that gives you some basic config for this. I've put an achievement style, which I shouldn't have done yet because I haven't actually done any other styles yet, but I'm working on that.
Ah. Okay.
Sorry. So achievement position, so that's for the little toast notification. When you get an achievement unlocked, where they're on screen, the little notification will appear. I did by default like Stadia itself, it's top middle, but you could be a masochist and put them bottom left if you want, where no one ever looks at anything.
It's like you're watching
Generally,
my screen. I just changed it to bottom left right before you
generally
said that.
you can do it either top center or bottom right are normally the best places for them.
Fine.
Um,
Go bottom right.
yeah, so then you got the duration, so how long you want that little toast notification to appear. It can either be like really quick for like a more rapid fire game that you don't want it to take up precious UI space, or like for default 5 seconds, and that's basically what Steam uses. That felt about right.
Cool.
Then there's a view achievements button. So that's how you bring up this screen itself. So rather than having to code it in on your own bit, which you can do if you want to overwrite it, but by default you can just select an input, and that'll when the player presses that, it'll bring up this achievement screen. Exit 3, I can't remember what that is.
Extra
It was a
3.
good button when I looked at it.
I don't know. I can have a look in the controls to find out though.
I don't know. I think it's D-pad right
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
or up. Oh no, it's D-pad up. I'm sure it is.
Oh, I'm on keyboard, so it's G. Or yeah, D-pad up on a controller.
Bam, memory.
Cool.
Then just to help, if you do want to write your own custom functions, there's that on achievement unlocked event. So that basically just fires off to anything that's listening. So if you want to add your own custom stuff, like, I don't know, make the cool effects happen or something cool, I don't know, do it all.
Cool.
So that's how you do the basic config. Then the best part, which is actually the achievements,
Yes.
is you see that the subfolder, which is the achievement subfolder underneath that.
I see that. And we've got several achievement scripts in here, which seem to be
So
configurating
yeah, that
each achievement.
word. So
Configuring.
the way
That was it.
the good way to do like constant data is if each data item is a script,
Mm-hmm.
and then the achievement system itself will then loop through all the scripts on there and pull them in as data items. So it's an easy way to be quite malleable in your data storage. So it comes with 3 achievements by default, which is the ones that you saw at the beginning. So there's the bog standard achievement, which is just flipped on or off. And it gives you a big list of icons, which is where all of those credits come from.
Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, there is a huge
Yeah.
list of icons. That's cool.
There is a level, like, it was culled down from like 1,000. So it spent a lot of time doing that.
And I know that this script looks really nice. Look at that.
Yeah. Adam
Okay.
made sure to go through it, and I made sure to comment everything. So if anyone wants to learn how it works or pull it apart to make their own and modify it or something, I made sure to comment the heck out of it. So it should be easy to understand.
Awesome. Right. So, how do we set up getting an achievement? So we've got achievements on the user.
So this is nice and easy. So also in the package contains a default thing for you to use. If you go to the templates again, when you're done fiddling
Yeah.
around with the horizons,
Sorry.
then there's that achievement unlock example you can just drag into the world.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
That should give you an arcade cabinet. And then if you click on the arcade cabinet,
Yep.
you
Got
see
an
it's got
achievement
this.
unlock.
Yep. So you give it the ID of the achievement you want, which is like a unique string for each achievement. Activation type. So this is meant to be quite easy way of saying whether you want it to like on interactive, whether you've got to use a button or a screen, whether you want the player to collide with it, so like jumping on a pad or something, or a trigger area. So if they enter a certain part of your level, whether they get an achievement for that. Or there is the option of a custom activation type, so you can write your own logic that fires off the events. Nice and
Oh, I
extensible.
see. Awesome. Okay.
So
So,
actually, so right now, oh, also there's that one-time use. So if
I
you've got
see
like
that.
so if you got like a progress achievement that's like use 10 arcade cabinets, but you don't want just to stand in front of one arcade cabinet and just spam the interact button until they achieve it. once you use it once, then that's locked. Then you have to go and find the other ones. That's to prevent that sort of abuse.
Okay, that's cool. Should we give this a play and see how it works, and then maybe try and change it so you have to do what you say, interact with several arcade cabinets?
Go for it. Hopefully this works.
Boom.
So if you go and interact
Okey-dokey.
with it, it should give you an achievement.
Hey, look at that, bottom right, standard achievement. A standard achievement type, and then if I press G, I can see I've unlocked standard achievement.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, should we go back?
Okay, let's make it. If we can do the progressy one now.
Yep. So then
If you,
I want to change it to say progress achievement as the ID.
is that what it's called? Yes, I'll get rid of the other achievement so you can.
Might as well just
Yeah,
change.
so progress achievement,
Yep.
and then let's call it.
And I want to make the activation action, I want to be increment, don't I?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. And then I'll probably make, let's say 3 of these
Yeah, that's good.
in really, really interesting locations across our map.
And if you want to go to the achievements definition,
Yep.
and maybe give it a better name, like say arcade up or something better.
Mash the arcade machines. Needs a better description than that, doesn't it?
Mash the arcade machines.
Hit them all. Mash them to death. Okay.
Oh, poor. Okay, have you got them all set to one-time use? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Whoa,
There we
okay.
go.
That was quick.
So if you
I've hit 1.
So now if you look at your screen,
Oh yeah, 1 out of 3, but it's still locked.
if you try interact again, that should hopefully not work.
You are correct.
Champion.
Okie dokie. Next one. And the third one. Boom! Mash the arcade machines with a cleaver icon that I chose. Nice.
Because that's very representative. So yeah, as you can see, that's pretty extensible and hopefully fairly easy to use.
Awesome. Okay, well that was quite a quick package to rattle through. Shall we move on to your next one, Sean?
Absolutely.
Which is the... Give me a sec. The XP package. Right, let's go.
Oh yeah, that one.
NUI, XP and leveling. Adds an easily configurable XP and level tracking system to your game with an easy to use API. Okay.
So I have to pepper as many instances of the word easy as possible.
Oh, that does make it easier. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
What do I do? I bet there's another README in this, isn't there?
Of course, there are always readmes.
Okay.
It's basically exactly the same.
So,
Drag
to
up.
use...
Sorry?
Yep, I was just reading it out. To
Okay.
use, drag the script folder onto the user. And we have a leveling controller. A level XP bar widget. And a level up UI. And then under that we've got several level configs. Okay, so you make a level config for each level that you can go up.
Yep. So this is you'll see it's fairly same-ish to the achievement system. I'm trying to architect them to all be fairly similar and easy to use. Familiar. So yeah, so in the level configs, that should hopefully be self-explanatory. You set what each level is and how much XP you need to get to it. And
That
it
makes
does
sense.
all the rest.
Cool. And
There should be another arcade cabinet in there, as there always is.
see if you make all your oh look, there's an XP bar. If you make all your packages arcade cabinets, it could get a bit confusing.
Nah.
So
Infinite arcade cabinet.
is it the XP alter example?
Yes.
I'm going to change the mesh on this actually into a alien in a glass tube.
Yeah, that can give you some good XP right here.
I need to open my window, it's boiling. Hang on.
Oh no.
Ooh. Right. So, what does this do? It's just a simple script. We interact with it, and that gives us 10 XP, right?
Yep.
Can I make it give us 100 XP so that we can actually reach some of these levels?
You can do what you want. Let's have a look. What are the leveling configs?
0,
Okay, yeah.
300, and 1000.
Oh, there you go. That should be pretty easy. Press F5 and it should work.
Let's go. Okay, right, so I've got my level UI at the bottom. Trying to go from level 1 to 2, requires 300 XP. Press that. Whoop. Oh, that's nice. It animates up as well. Look at that. That's very nice. Oh, I see. So 1000 isn't the XP I need to go from level 2 to 3. That's the total XP for level 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, level 3. I'm at max level
And it
now.
should say max. Yeah. But then this does contain a whole system for removing XP and going down levels if
Oh,
you really wanted to.
shall we have a go?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure whether it's going to make it difficult, so I hid it behind a little tick icon. So you'll see on the XP config thing, there's a enable XP loss.
On XP config, does that go on the user? Click
Yep,
the wrong
so on
thing.
the leveling controller on user.
Oh, enable XP loss. Okay, and then there's new things. So there's a loss sound, which we can change to a crowd booing, because that's probably the best sound for this. Actually, let's preview that sound. That'll do.
That's going to happen every time you lose XP.
Yeah. Oh, every time I lose it. Oh, I meant to do that on a level lost. Okay, let's undo that one. Okay. Oh, and then I can set up events for when I gain XP and levels and when I lose them as well. So I can do custom things.
Correct.
Okie dokie. I'm going to change my save version as well so that it resets my data. So that we're not already on maximum level. So, now that I can lose levels.
Now with the slight panic, I realize I don't know if I made it work with negative numbers.
Okay. Should we try it?
Okay, I'll give it to the one on the right will give you 100 XP, and the one on the left should hopefully take away 100 XP without crashing the game.
Okay. Should I try it from being on 0, or is that gonna? Whoop whoop.
That should lower cap it.
Okay, yeah, it won't let me lose.
Good.
Any more than that. Okay, that's good.
So
So
level up.
interact with this and go all the way up to level 2. Oh, and that takes me back to level 1.
I also realize now all the sounds are server side, so I should probably make them client side.
Oh, okay.
That's why
Okay.
you can hear me. Like...
Oh yeah, so that's probably worth doing as soon as possible before people start to use this package. Should we just quickly have a look at where that happens so that it's easy enough for someone to change it to be client side if they want to?
Okay. Well, we can just update it here, can't we?
That's a good point. We can.
The power of collaboration.
Whoop. Okie doke. Right. So the first thing we want to do is actually install one of my packages, which is the local handler package, because that makes it very easy to do things on a local client, which is quite a handy feature.
So we're plugging packages within packages now.
Packageception. Okay, so I think I've shown the local handler before on a stream, but in case you've missed that, it's a very, very simple package. It comes with a script folder that you drag onto the user, and that's it. If you open that up, it's got a comment to explain how you use it. So you say user send scripts, do on local, then you send the entity that you want something to happen on, the name of the function, and then any parameters you can send after it. So Sean, where is this achievement stuff that's playing sounds on the server?
So if you go to leveling controller and go down to line 175, which should be check for level change.
175. If you didn't know how to go to line, by the way, which I didn't until recently, it's Control G, which is quite helpful.
There you go. And it's in here. Or down here.
Play sound 2D. Okay, so what we should probably do is add a function down here, which is like play local sound. We want to play sound
Comment
2D.
the heck out while you're doing this.
Nice. Okay, so then what we can do, rather than playing these sounds, which is just done in 2 places, is that right?
This is the level one. There should be an XP one.
Okay, we'll find that in a sec. So rather than playing those sounds, what we can do is... oh, we're already on the user, aren't we?
Yep.
Oh, if we're already on the user, we don't really need the local handler. Okay. For some reason I thought this was on another entity.
You literally dragged it yourself. Well, we'll use it anyway, right? It'll still be fine.
Nah, there's no point. We might as well just do it all within this script. The local handler would be useful if it wasn't already on a local entity, so the user or the player. But it is. So we'll pretend that didn't happen.
Brilliant.
In this case, all we need to do is call self play local sound. And then Sean is going to make sure that everything's commented, I guess. I'm going to go add into here if self get entity, come on, if self get entity is local, then we'll play the sound. Otherwise, so we'll catch if we're still on the server. Else send to local, play local sound. That's going to send just to this local client for this user, and then we'll send the sound as well. Now, why is it upset about that? Oh, need it then. Cool. That should work now, right, Sean?
Good do. I'm going to add it to the XP bits up here.
Oh yeah. Where is that?
Uh,
Found it.
Yep.
Found one for losing it. If you want to change it for gaining it.
I have. Assume I got it right. Yep. Play local sound.
Let's see what this is here. XP lost sound. Okie dokie. Should we give that a go and just check?
Okay. Let's give it a spin.
Not only are we using and creating packages on this stream, we're even fixing them.
Can you hear that?
No, interact with it. I can't hear a thing, but I can hear when I interact with it. Yay, we fixed it.
Fantastic. Let's republish that right now. Or people try to use it.
Okay, so you've got to republish that, haven't you? As that is your package. You're the owner of it.
Local sounds are now local.
Okay. Now onto a third existing package, which we're going to implement before we start getting onto a couple of new ones. I think there's also a couple of suggestions in chat, so I'll evaluate those in a bit and see if anything looks easy enough to fit into the stream, depending on time. So this last one is one that quite a few people have already been using. It is the leaderboard 3D package, a 3D leaderboard for placing into the world. So importantly, this was only enabled by the most recent update that we had to Crayta, and this allows you to use global leaderboards now. So previously you could save scores to users, you could save all sorts of data to users. So for example, Tumbleweed Ridge, you could save where they've placed their plants, how much money they've got, and so on. But what you couldn't do was save that data to the whole game, so the whole game can display to everyone that you, for example, have the most money in all of Tumbleweed Ridge out of anyone who's ever played in the world. Now you can. So this is not Tumbleweed Ridge. This is a game where we interact with aliens in tubes to get free XP. So I think we'll make a leaderboard for that instead, which is a really interesting use case.
It is.
Now this is going to show how easy it is to use because I haven't used it yet. This could be interesting. So we drag in the 3D leaderboard, put it behind our arcade machines over here.
Very nice.
as you can see, it's got a bit of a default list of scores and names here. And if we go look at the screen, then we've got the leaderboard widget. So that's obviously displaying all the UI that we can see there. Russ thinks this game is Alien Tube Simulator. That sounds like an amazing game to be playing. And then down here, absolutely. Down here we've got the leaderboard script. So this is what's controlling the global leaderboard and pulling in the data. So we've got score is time. So if you've got a race or something, then you want to tick this so that it formats the score numbers to show them as a time. Your leaderboard name we'll cover in a second when we make the leaderboard for this. Leaderboard title, so that's what will get displayed at the top. Maximum entries, so at the moment by default it'll display up to 10 entries on there. If you change that you can display just 5 or the top 20 or so on. And then there's a no entries message, so that's what the leaderboard will display before anyone has actually played the game, before there's any entries onto the leaderboard. So, first thing we need to do is go and actually set up a leaderboard for this. You have to set up a leaderboard as part of your game. So what I'm going to do, switch over to the Crayta website. That's something I was looking at before. Where is this game? Package Workshop 5. So in case you haven't been here before, this is create.crayta.com, and then you can go to the Games tab, find any of your games and manage them from this website. Under this tab we can go to the Leaderboards tab, and then we can create ourselves a new leaderboard. So what should we call this, Sean? Alien Tube XP?
Alien Tube Simulator.
Alien Tube Simulator. Okay. Highest value is best. That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, highest
most alien tubes.
Highest XP, most alien tubes. That is the best thing to do. Score type is just number, not seconds. It's not a timer. Create leaderboard. Okay, and there we can see we've got our leaderboard set up that we can see on our management website. That's the name that we're going to want, so I'm just going to copy that into my clipboard. We can see the order, so it's descending order, highest first. The score type, and we can see obviously once people start playing this game we'll be able to see their scores go into here. So we need that name, importantly. That's got to go into this leaderboard name field, otherwise it's not going to know which leaderboard it's trying to update. I need to allow clipboard access to paste that into there. So now that leaderboard will work, but at the moment we're not giving it any scores. What we need to do is have a look at how we pass scores into the leaderboard. And then I think, Sean, are you editing the leveling controller to start adding scores to it?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to have a look at how you actually put scores into this leaderboard. Which is a good question. Sean, how do you do it? I know that Russ told me this before. I'm going to find out what Russ had told me.
Russ did tell you before.
Damn. Should have paid more attention. So, oh, okay. So it's part of the built-in API. That's why I can't see it in this script. So what you can say is you can use the API user set leaderboard value. So, Sean, have you added that somewhere in here? Or have you just found a good place?
Into it. Do you want another function for it?
Right, so yeah, I think we probably should. So every time your XP changes, we're going to set that as your leaderboard value, right?
Yes.
Okay, you can come up with the function name. I'll start writing it. So self-getEntity is going to get this user, and then we say set leaderboard value. And then we need the name of the leaderboard and the value, and optionally a callback. But I think for now, for simplicity's sake, we'll just go for the leaderboard name and the value that we're trying to pass it, which is going to be our XP. The leaderboard name will go for self.properties.leaderboard name, and we'll create that property in just a second. Then the value is going to be the XP that we pass in. So let's, oh, you're setting it up. And I will go find that and make sure we put in the correct leaderboard name here. So that's on the leveling, XP and leveling.
Yep.
Leaderboard name,
there.
bam, Alien Tube Simulator.
Wow.
Shall we bravely give this a go?
Tentative.
Boom. Okay, So as soon as we add XP, that should set as a leaderboard value. You'll see without any entries, we get this no entries message here.
I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, same. Okay, so if I interact with this, I get 100 points. Now it is worth bearing in mind, by default in that script, it will only update the leaderboard. It'll only pull the data from the leaderboard every 60 seconds. What I'm going to do first, that may have worked, but what I'm going to do is just
Crank
go and
that
reduce
down.
that number so that we can see the changes instantly. So if you open up the leaderboard script, you'll see in the init function, so when the game starts, it's just doing this schedule. It's going to update the leaderboard and then wait 60 seconds between every one. Let's change that for now to just 5 seconds. Go again. So let's start earning scores. Oh no, Sean, it's not worked. What have we
Oh
done?
no.
What have we done wrong?
Let's have a look.
The first thing to do is go and see if the leaderboard is actually working. So let me just refresh my leaderboard page. Oh no, we're not putting any scores into the leaderboard. What's going on, Sean?
Dun 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 dun.
Wait a second, the script, did we actually call?
I was going to ask you that.
Oh, I thought you'd already set up something to call it.
No,
Did we not?
I don't think we did.
Okay, well that's silly. Okay, so at no point did we call update high score, so we should probably do that. Update high score. Where is this?
Gain XP somewhere.
Self.properties.current.xp. So that's when
Yes.
we add XP, but I think we should also call that when we remove XP.
Oh, I see. So the leaderboard is your current XP rather than the highest you got.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we'll
why
go
not?
with that.
Why not?
Let's try it. So Sean, go and earn some XP.
Oh, I've got to lose some XP first. And then there's loads of angry messages.
Oh no, please work. Damn. No matching function call takes this number of arguments and the specified types. Line
Bum, 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 bum.
82.
What have you done?
What have I done?
What have
Set
you done?
self get entity, which is a user. Set leaderboard value.
String leaderboard name, number, value.
XP. Is XP definitely a number?
What? Current XP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
There's
imagine
there's an optional callback. Is that required?
it should be optional. Oh, sorry. Just realised someone in the chat has asked if I can zoom in a little bit on the editor. So hopefully that has helped. Code editor, that is. You can do that with holding control and scrolling the scroll wheel, or I think also control minus and control plus.
Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on.
Right, so let's just check our leaderboard entity. So that's got Alien Tube Simulator in the name, that's correct. And on our user, we have got Alien Tube Simulator, that is also correct.
Ooh.
What's up?
Can you make an achievement that unlocks when you get the first place on the leaderboard? I guess you could.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get the
that could.
leaderboard data down, couldn't you? And then look through all the ranks and see if you are the number one.
Yeah. Is that a suggestion that we try and do that today?
I don't need to.
But yes, it should be doable, certainly.
Yeah.
Should we give this a go and see what that prints then?
Okay.
See why it's angry. Oh, it's angry. What's it angry about?
Score of 500 to leaderboard Alien Tube Simulator.
That
Yeah.
seems fine. We put in our optional callback.
Yeah. Let's put the optional, not optional callback.
Wait a second. Set leaderboard value needs to be called on a user entity, which I think we are.
Which we are.
I know that Russ has done leaderboard stuff. Russ, if you're watching this, what's going on? Please help us.
He's in the thing.
He's in the thing. Print, oh no, end. That is our callback function. Let's give it
There
a
you
go.
go. Don't be angry with us.
Please don't be angry. No, it's still angry.
It's
Still angry. Why is it angry? Okay,
like debugging.
I know that people in the chat have definitely used the leaderboard system before. Come on, Russ, help us. Don't just put laughing faces.
I'm sure Russ has got something somewhere to tell you how to use it.
Okay, if Russ doesn't come and help us out right now, we should move on to the next package. Russ, you going to help us out?
In the meantime, we should make it so that when you reach level 3, you get an unlock. I'm going to do that.
Yeah? Do you
For
want to
giggles while I'm waiting.
talk me through how you're doing that then?
I will when I realize how I'm doing it.
So is that in the leveling controller that you're going to be doing that?
Yes.
So I guess there's going to be something about changing level, is that right? Let's see what functions we've
Yes,
got.
check for level change.
Check
So
level
if you go
change.
up, I'm going to do something horrible and I'm going to hard code it.
John, why is there a semicolon? This is not
Because
JavaScript.
I've been doing JavaScript all day, all right?
This is not JavaScript. There you go. Maybe you'll remember.
Oh no, we want it for max, don't we? I've got a thing around here for max level.
Have you? Okay. I'll come back in a bit if you want to have a look around for that and see if you can work out how that max level can be found. Meanwhile, I think we should move on to making the next package. So, let me just see what the next package was going to be. We were thinking of doing an action trigger. So I think basically someone asked for something similar and then we tried to see if we can make it a little bit more extendable. So I think someone on the forum in the package requests area asked if we could make some sort of trigger to pick up items so that you don't have to be looking at an item, but if you're in a trigger, then you'll be able to pick up that item. Essentially, we tried to make, well, we think we're going to try and make more of an action trigger so that it can give prompts to a player when they go into a trigger, and then basically it'll start listening for a button press that player does, and when they do that button press, it can do any event, and you can very easily hook that event up into a weapon pickup if you're using the standard pickups logic that's in any of the gun-based starter games, sorry, or even the collection game. So let's get going on that one. I'm going to create a new trigger. First of all, I'm going to call this the action trigger. And let's start making a couple of scripts. Action trigger script. Cool, let's delete these comments as we don't need those. So this is going to handle when players come into the trigger and when players exit the trigger, and making sure that they're listening, or that this trigger, sorry, is basically listening to button press events on the player. And then we're going to also make a script on the player, which I'll start setting up now, which is going to be handling listening to all of these. So we'll make a new child script folder on the player, call this player action script. This can just be player action. We'll call the script player action script. And again, I'm going to clear out default comments that we got. Cool, so need a couple of functions in here first of all. The fairly obvious ones. We want the onTriggerEnter function. It's going to pick up just the player that enters, and we'll make sure this is a players only trigger in just a second. There we go. So on init, what you can do with a trigger is make sure that it's only going to detect players entering it, so not meshes or voxels or anything, by ticking players only on here. But as we know that this script should only ever go on players only triggers, what we're going to do is say self-getEntity dot players only equals true to make sure that wherever you put the script, it doesn't matter if you remember to tick this box or not, it's going to force it to be players only. So that's how this script needs to work. Then what we need is a few more properties on here. So we need the action press event. So basically when the player presses the correct button in this trigger, it's going to fire off this event, and then we'll make another one action release event. So when they release that button, it could also fire off another event. Let's make action press, not event type equals event. Let's give this a helpful tooltip. Cool, and then we'll just copy that, paste it down here, and make it release rather than press. Cannot type today. Action release event. How's it going, Sean? Did you manage to work out the leveling thing?
I think so. We'll see when it breaks everything.
Nice. Then we need the button to press, so obviously we need to know what button a player should be pressing when they're in this trigger to actually trigger the action. Sean's going to be filling in some of our extra functions down here. Excuse me. So the button to press, let's give this one a tooltip, and then we're going to give it some options as well, because you don't want to be able to just put in any string here. It needs to specifically be a type of button. The button to press to fire the event. And then here we can say options equals, and what I'm going to do, just copy and paste our list of buttons from somewhere I wrote earlier. And if we just put those right above the properties as their own table, you'll see we've got action trigger script dot buttons. So we made a new variable there. Is this table of buttons, so primary, secondary, extra one, so on. So if we just make that action trigger script dot buttons, then that's the string options that we can get. And I think we want to give a default as well of, let's go with interact. And if I save that, Sean, stop typing.
Gosh, sorry.
Okay, carry on. Just need to be able to save that script so I can see the properties. So here, action press event, so that's going to fire when a player's in the trigger and presses the right button. Same for release. And then the buttons press, you can see, is now this fixed list of the valid buttons that Crayta will accept. Right, let's just close that back down. One more thing, finally, we're going to integrate this into the prompts package as well. Prompts package is a really handy package if you haven't used it before, for displaying basically prompts to the player to say press this button to do this action and so on. This is going to be, what am I going to call this? The prompt message. And that is going to be of type text. Let's give this a tooltip as well. Prompt message while in this trigger. So let's say this gets formatted automatically to say press button to do something. So if we just say turn on the light, there we go. Then it will say press the interact button, which in my case is E because I'm on a keyboard, to turn on the light. So has Russ helped us fix the leaderboard, Sean?
Yep.
So
Finally
the leaderboard needs
like
to be a
hero.
string, not text. Where have we put that? That in the leveling controller.
Yeah, I changed it already.
Oh, okay. Let's just go and have a look at where that was. Leaderboard name, string. Oh, I trusted you, Sean.
I realise now you don't need to localize an ID.
No, you don't. Okay. Shall we move away from our action trigger just for a second, press play and see if our leaderboard works?
I'm terrified, but yes.
That simple change. Hey,
Oh.
look, there's no errors. I'm on 600 XP. Oh, apparently I'm on 900 XP, or is that my highest ever XP?
I think it only takes your highest. I think there's a thing on the web system's back end.
No, wait, sorry, no, that is my current XP, isn't it? The reason I'm seeing 600 is because that's my progress up to level 3.
If I take off 100, yeah, I think no, it only stores the maximum number.
Oh, does it only store the max? Okay.
Yeah.
But if I go up to the maximum that I can do, which is level 3, then that's 1000 XP. Okay.
Did
That
you?
all works now.
I hope you got.
What?
Didn't get an achievement. Damn. That works anyway.
Oh, right, there was meant to be an achievement for that.
Bump bump.
Is it the secret achievement?
It is a secret achievement.
Nice. Oh, wait, I can just about read it. Infinite power.
Wait, can you?
Yeah, through the blur.
How?
You need to make it more blurry.
How? How do you read that?
I can read that. You can tell that says infinite power.
I cannot.
Yes, you can. You need a 4K Stadia game then. You're not already.
Hacks.
All right. Hacked vision. Okay, let's go back to our action trigger script for a bit. So we should have all the properties that we need there, and then Sean's setting up these functions. So we've got on trigger enter. So when a player enters the trigger, we're going to send to their scripts to register this as an action trigger. We're sending this trigger entity, and we're sending the prompt message as well. And same again below, but for removing the action trigger. So when the player leaves the trigger, obviously we don't want to still be telling them, hey, press E to do whatever it was that I said we're going to do, turn on a light. So we can take that away again. And then we'll be using these functions from the player's action script in a second. So on button pressed, we'll send the action press event. And when the action button's released, we'll send the action release event. So if we go over to the equivalent player script now, what we want in here, we don't need any properties, don't need to do anything when we initialize, but we need a place that's going to pick up those functions that are coming from the action trigger script, where we're registering the action trigger and removing the action trigger. So we need register action trigger with the trigger entity and the prompt message. In fact, I'm not certain we need the prompt message, but we'll see. Probably also want a local init. So that's when this player is initialized on the local client side. So we're actually going to handle the triggers that this player has on them on the local client, because that's going to help us show the prompts to the local player. So in local init, we're going to set up the table of the triggers that they're sort of that they're listening to, I guess. Then when we register an action trigger, what we want to do is check if we're on the local entity. If we're not, we're just going to send this up to local. So we'll say send to local, register action trigger with the trigger and the prompt. And then if we're in here, we can basically just add it into the table. So table.insert self.action triggers with the trigger. You know what? I don't think we actually need that prompt. That's not being used anywhere. And we will be able to get that from the properties of the trigger anyway. Let's actually remove that. Don't need that in here. Ah, press the wrong button.
Oh no.
What have I done? There we go. Lots of healthy Control Z has helped me there. Okie dokie. Removing the action trigger is a little bit more involved, so let's copy and paste the code so that it's going to the local client. But then when we remove it, we want to iterate through the whole table to look for it. We're going to say for, we need the index for index trigger. Actually, we don't want it to be called trigger because we've already got trigger. We'll just go index T in pairs self to action triggers. Nope, not what I wanted. So we're going to go through each of the action triggers that we've already got in this table. If t is equal to the trigger that we want to remove, then we say table.remove. The table we're removing from is self.action triggers. We want to remove the index that we found, and then we can break out because it shouldn't be in there twice. So we'll assume if we found it, we can safely break out of that for loop. Stop executing that there. Oh, Sean's adding
I'm here.
block comments everywhere. Okay. So then we need to pick up when a player actually presses a button, and we need to see if that button correlates to any of the triggers that they're standing in, and then tell that trigger to fire off its event. So let's pick up, remember we're doing all this on the local client, so we'll get a local on button pressed, taking the button there, and then we'll iterate through again. So this time we don't need the index, we'll just put in an underscore so we know that that's kind of a blank variable we don't care about, but we do care about the value of this key value pair, which is the trigger. In pairs self.action triggers, do if trigger dot action trigger script, so let's find the script on that first. Go to its properties and then find the, what's it called, the button to press, I think. Button to press. If the button to press is equal to the button that the user has just pressed, then what we want to do is take the trigger script and tell it, what are we going to tell it? Action button pressed. And what we're going to do is send through the player that pressed it as well, which is just going to be the entity that this script is on. Cool. I think that's about that. And then we'll copy and paste this for releasing the button as well. Action button released. Simple enough. So basically, that'll allow us to do events when you press and when you release the button. And that also allows you to detect if someone's holding the button, which we're actually going to do in this case. We'll have the trigger turn on a light, just as a simple example. Let's see how the chat is doing. Oh, it looks like someone else had already beat Russ to it, saying that we were using text property instead of string.
See, they know more than we do.
Yep. Well, there you go. You need the community to help us sometimes. So, one more thing I just remembered. While I'm in this script, I said we're going to integrate this into the prompts package. Now what we want to do is first install the prompts package. So you'll see that's one of the original Crayta packages. We're going to place the prompts package onto our user. The user prompts view script folder. And you'll see it's got all of these currently empty text properties here for what the instructions for every button are. But don't worry, we can leave those empty. They'll get populated by this player action script in a second. Go to the player then. We can add a script folder to them, which is the player prompts override as well. Again, we don't need to add anything special here, but these essentially will override what's written on the user. So if you don't have a player, then maybe you don't have an interact prompt, but then once a player is spawned, you probably want an interact prompt or a primary action prompt saying press, left button or right trigger to do an action, whatever that action may be. So when you're using that package, that goes to your player and it calls a function called getButtonPrompts, which is on the local client. That's why we've been doing all of this on the client so far. And that passes in the existing prompts table and lets you basically add to it. What we can do here is go through each of our triggers, each of the triggers that we're currently inside that we're listening to. And we're going to get each of them to add their button and their message as a prompt so that this player can see, for example, press E to turn on the light. So what we do here is basically insert it into the table. Go T dot action trigger script dot properties dot, what was it, button to press equals, now that might get confusing, so I'll go on to 2 lines. T dot action trigger script dot, we want properties dot prompt message in this case. There we go. So it's basically going to add a new prompt where the key is the button to press and the value is the prompt message that we want to display when we're inside that trigger. Just realized one more thing. Since this is all on local, we can't just immediately send this function because it's still going to be doing that function on local. That actually needs to be happening on the server. I'm just going to change this, in fact, to say T, the trigger entity, send to server. Then we'll take the string of the function name that we're trying to call. And we'll make sure to do that in both places. Hopefully people can keep up with the coding that's happening here. I know it's a little bit code heavy at the moment, but we're creating a new package that should hopefully be quite useful for people. If anyone's got any questions about any of the code we're doing, Russ will be happy to answer them in chat. I'm hoping.
Russ is always happy.
Russ is always happy to answer questions in chat. So that should be everything we need, except for the fact that at the moment it's not really going to do anything. We can set it up so we've got a prompt, which is probably the first thing we want to do. I'm going to position it over here, make it a little bit bigger actually. Then we can test that it's actually got the prompt working, and then we'll add a little sort of debug light turning on script into this as a child. Just going to paint the ground under this trigger so that I actually know where my trigger is. Let's paint it in chocolate. Hang on. There we go.
Very nice.
That's where my trigger is. We don't need to bother setting up the action press event or the action release event. Hopefully, we'll get the interact button show up when we step into it as a prompt telling us we can press E to turn on the light. Should we give it a go, Sean?
Go for it.
And is there any progress on your achievements leveling up stuff?
Hopefully, when you, I'm going to say, yes.
Oh, so it works, does it, if you reach level 3? Infinite power, reach the maximum level. So if I press
Great
G...
success.
Yes! Okay, nice. So that works. If I go into this trigger, press E to turn on the light. Yay! That works.
Is there a light?
Oh, when I exit the trigger, that hasn't gone away. So something's gone wrong.
I feel cheated. There's no light to turn on.
There isn't yet, but we will get to that. Let me just go back. What's gone wrong here? Sean, help me.
I don't understand half what you're typing in there.
The action... Oh, well, you're supposed to.
I'll make you a light.
Yeah, can you make me a light, and can you put a very simple script? Can you put a very simple script on it which will turn the light on, which will toggle the light basically?
Oh, yeah.
If it's already visible, set it invisible and vice versa. So on trigger enter, we're saying register action trigger to the player. With this entity on trigger exit, we're saying remove action trigger. Let's go check those two functions. Oh, here we go. So copy paste error. We've got a function called remove action trigger, but if it's not on the local client, we were telling it to register an action trigger, which is not at all what we want. There we go. And there's some nice comments in there for Sean. Okay, and we've now got a light, or we've got a lamppost at least, with a child light. Right. Ah,
oh
I deleted too much, sorry. I selected way too much there.
How could you have done this?
Oh no, I think you deleted it. Control Z.
We'll just
Oh
start
no.
again. It's fine.
More and more is disappearing as if we keep going. Okay, but that's function.
You're a function.
Okay, thank you. But, oh no. We definitely shouldn't try and collaboratively code on exactly the same bit, should we?
Do you want this to be local, like for the only local person can turn it on or off, or
Yeah, that would probably be quite good, wouldn't it? So if you want to do the local init function, I'll do the local toggle function. Could this be a case for my script? Yes, it could. It could be a case for my local handler.
Ooh, we actually get to use it.
Toggle light script, toggle for player, and we'll take a player, which if you remember, we were passing from the action trigger script. Yeah, in the event, we're passing the player that's done the action. So in here, we're going to say player get user center scripts, and we want to do on local to this entity the function. No, Sean, we still needed that other one. Don't get rid of it.
Oh, all right.
The function local toggle, and we don't need to pass any parameters with that. Wait, self.on? What's that? What?
Up here, Mr.
Oh, okay. And then self.getEntity.visible equals self.on.
There you go.
Okay, so that's starting as off, is it? Should we just make sure that passed into there? Okay. Then the last thing we need to do is make sure we connect up our action trigger to that light. So we need our action press event and we need our action release event. And we're going to say, hang on, I've just dragged in the action trigger. I want to drag in the light. It's the light that we want to do these functions on. It's found the toggle light script, and then we want to say toggle for player on both of these. Should we give it a go, Sean?
Let's go for it. I'm excited. I want the light to turn on. God, turn on. Turn on.
I'm going to turn it on. Press E to turn on the light. Yay!
Oh, of course it turns on just for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just on the local client, so you're, I'm guessing, turning it on and off now.
So you got to hold it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so when you release, the light goes off.
Do a local rave.
No, it just looks like a broken light. It's not really a rave. Cool outfit, though.
I know.
Right. What sort of suggestions have we had from chat? Because I had one more idea, and we probably don't have all that much time left. But we will try and cover any suggestions that we think we can manage in later streams, so don't worry too much for this one. Were there any suggestions that seem easily achievable at the moment?
Minimaps are very easy, right? We can do that. Totally.
That is not easy, but
no.
On the topic of minimaps.
Don't
no, on the topic of minimaps, there's already a minimap package by Phil Dooley, I think. So if you go and ask the creator of that package, let me just find that package actually. What's our forum called? Is it forum.crayta.com? Hey, look at that, it is. So if you go to the package guides on our forum, you can search for the minimap, and you'll see the minimap package. You can go and comment on this if you'd like to see the minimap changed with any extra functionality added. And you can go and ask if it can be, I think it was relative to the player, or there was something else on there, but I can't remember what the suggestion was. But that would be a good place to go and ask for more functionality on the minimap package if that's something you'd like to see.
The one thing, a kill cam, I don't know how easy that is. You're like the spline camera guy.
Oh, it's not about splines though, is it? If it's a kill cam, then you want to see what just happened in the past, right?
Not that sort of kill cam. The one where when you die and then the camera points to and it follows the person who killed you.
Wait, so it points to your dead body?
And then it stays on your dead body and then turns to face the
Oh, I
person who
see.
killed you.
Okay. That could be a
Right.
cool idea, but I haven't experimented with it yet, and we're also not
That's
in a
that's
deathmatch
fine.
game. So I think
But we can download the other packages of
no,
the deathmatch
no,
game.
Sean, no, we're not doing we're not doing it right now. It could go very wrong. I have no idea. I think for now then, I think we'll add that to our list of packages that people want at some point. But we'll go and make a different package, which I also haven't tried to make yet, but it shouldn't be too hard. Now, people may have noticed in Crayta that the way the entities are set up, if, for example, I toggle visibility on the parent, that doesn't actually have to have any effect on a child. And again, if I toggle collision on the parent, so that I can run through it, that still doesn't necessarily have to have an effect on the child. So often in games, you might have quite a complex structure. I don't know, let's say a building or something that you want to make the entire thing invisible, or you want to turn collision off on the whole thing, sort of programmatically through Lua at some point in your game. Delete that alien goop. And that can be kind of hard to do if you're not too familiar with Lua coding. So I'm just going to try and make hopefully a fairly simple package that will allow you to toggle the visibility on not only one entity, but all children of it, and all children of children, and children's children's children, and so on.
Going
Basically,
down
recursively. And I'll also allow you to toggle collision, and I'll try and make it so you can toggle visibility on the local client as well. But that could be a stretch goal. So Sean, if I make
Broken.
an entity, do you want to start adding things to it?
Okay.
In fact, I'll make a locator because it's always quite good to group complex things under a locator. Shall I call this house? Do you want to make a house?
Who wants to make a house? I'll surprise you.
Okay, feel free to change the name
House
of it.
quotation marks.
Okay. So yeah, we've got a locator there, but we're going to add loads of stuff to it at all different levels down the hierarchy, and we want a script on that that's going to allow us to turn it all on or off. So let's create a new script. I'm going to call this one, I feel like calling it visibility switcher, but that's not strictly true because we can also do collision. Maybe state switcher? Does that make more sense, Sean?
That sounds more sensible, yeah.
State switcher script. Okay, let's clear out the default comments in there. So a state switcher script, we want to say at the start we are on. With visible, actually, we'll do visibility and collision as two separate things here. Collidable equals true. So then what we want to do is say probably switch visibility and switch collision. They're going to be our two functions here. And then we're going to say is on in each of these is the argument that it's going to take. Then basically what we want to do is have a recursive function that's going to start with the root entity and then go through all of its children and keep passing them into the function to change these states. So state switcher script set visibility recursively on an entity. So we will say self set visibility recursively with this entity, and we'll pass in if we want the visibility on or off. Then here we'll say entity dot visible equals is on. Then we're going to go through the children of this. So for every child in pairs entity get children. Ooh, I always forget the do. We're going to basically call this function again with the child. So it's going to go through every child and every child of that child and so on, setting this function, setting the visibility. We're going to say self set visibility recursively with the child and our is on status. That should hopefully work. And I'm also going to add that for collision. Set collision recursively. Now it's worth actually doing a couple of extra checks with collision. You'll see that any entity can have the visible flag, but not all of them have a collision enabled flag. That's only meshes or voxel meshes. So it's worth checking here. If entity is a mesh or entity is a voxel mesh, then we'll change its collision. But either way, we're then still going to go through and do this function on all of its children as well, because this might be a locator, so it might not have collision itself, but it might have children that need their collision changing as well. We're going to set collision recursively on all the children. So when we say switch collision, we want to say self set collision recursively this entity and is on. And in here we want to say self.collidable equals is on. In here we want to make sure we set the visibility. And I'll actually add a toggle function into these as well so that you can repeatedly turn it on and off if you want to. So toggle visibility, we'll just say switch visibility with the opposite of what current state it's in. Actually, to make a bit more sense, we're going to put that above the switch visibility function, and I'm going to paste it above here and make it toggle collision as well. Collidable. There we go. So we've got some simple functions. So of course they're kind of similar to our light script, whatever that was called, toggle light scripts. We've got a nice little toggle we can do. Only now we can actually do that for all of the children, and we can do that with visibility and collision. The last thing I want to do, in fact, is probably do this, add a function so that we can actually change visibility on a local client, so that one of us might be able to see the house or whatever Sean's building and the other one can't. I'm going to say is local. Actually, no, we probably want a new function for this. Coming up with this on the fly. How's it going, Sean? Can I look at your house?
Yes.
Is it ready? Oh my gosh.
Maggie, you'll be proud of me.
What have you made? That is something. Okay, that's cool. So, do you want to maybe set up another action trigger somewhere near this, or maybe just all around it, so that you can walk up to it and allow us to toggle its visibility and collision? Yeah, let's say collision as well. Meanwhile, I will work on this. So if self sorry, if is client. So if we're saying local toggle visibility for a player, if this is on the client, then we can just say self toggle visibility. Probably want a local in it so that we've set up these things as well. On the client side, in fact, it's going to be a client in it. It needs to initialize for every client, not just one local client. So if it's already on the client, we'll toggle the visibility. Otherwise, what we want to do is say player get user send to scripts do on local self get entity local toggle visibility. There we go. So that's going to make sure that we only toggle visibility on this player's client. Might work. I'm skeptical, but we'll see. We're not going to create one of those functions for collision, because if you try and change collision just on a per client basis, you're going to get some weird results, because basically if another player runs into something that your client thinks has collision, but the server thinks doesn't have collision, it's not going to know whether they should be able to run through it or not be able to run through it. So we shouldn't be changing the collision on any client. Okay, so Sean set up this action trigger. I'm going to call this house trigger. I'm still going to maintain that this is a house.
You could live in it. I mean, nothing's stopping you.
And what we're going to do... Oh, it looks like Sean's already set this up here.
So I'm doing a server side so we can see the results magically.
Okay. So wait. When we press,
right?
It's going to toggle the collision. When we release, it's going to toggle the visibility.
No, when you press, it'll do both.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's all one event. Oh, yeah. Should we give it a go?
Let's go.
What could possibly go wrong?
I'm excited. Go on, turn him off.
Make it go away.
Make it go away.
He's gone.
What if you turn it back on? Oh, there you go.
Oh, you did.
What happens if you're inside it? They would try and live in it, right?
Try and live in it, did you say?
Try and live in it.
Oh.
Ah, the noise. I keep forgetting about that every time.
Trying to like, I got inside it.
I want to try and get inside the skull.
Okay.
There we go.
Amazing.
Yeah, I live inside the skull now.
So this is kind of a ridiculous example, but hopefully you can see that there's definitely some interesting gameplay mechanics that could come from being able to change visibility and collision on a whole load of things all at once.
Oh.
Yashishi in chat said, this thing is more disturbing than anything I ever created. Okay, awesome.
I don't know, man. The baby has it.
Whoop.
What? Oh.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, should we go back and make this only work on local? In fact,
Yes.
I've got a slightly more interesting idea, so we can leave your dinosaur thing alone. This is more of a game mechanic idea, but what if we had a wall that allowed you to do X-ray vision?
Ooh.
So what I'm thinking
Good
is,
idea.
basically, if you want to start making a room somewhere, Sean, let's call it... This could even be a template that we provide with the package, actually. We call this X-ray room.
No, I think the house is the best thing to package with it.
I'm not packaging that, ever. You can. But I do not want to package that. So if we make an X-ray room, and let's start setting up a room here. So we'll give it a voxel mesh child. Oh, have you already given it a child? Yes, you have. And I'm thinking basically this is going to look, you know, like police interview rooms where they've got the two-way mirror thing, where you can actually see through from one side. I'm thinking that sort of setup. So there's going to be a room that you can't see into, and there's a solid wall in front of it. But from the side you're standing on, there's a trigger, and if you press a certain button within that trigger, it's going to make the wall go invisible so that you can see inside the room. I think that'd be quite fun.
That sounds like a very good idea.
We can even set up 2 triggers, so another one turns a light on in the room.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting. Try and prove the point that if you're within 2 action triggers, then it's going to show up both prompts. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. Are you building out that room?
I am.
What I'm going to do is start adding these action triggers. So where's the blocked off bit of the room going to be? I'm guessing you're
On
blocking that
the
out.
left, the other side.
Yeah, so if I put this action trigger where people can stand,
Mm-hmm.
let's make it quite big. That's way too big. Okay, so behind that barrier
Mm-hmm.
is going to be something that we can't normally see into.
Yep. The spooky room.
The spooky room, except by using this trigger. So by using this trigger, we'll be able to turn off the main wall at the front. So this is going to be the X-ray wall trigger. What I'm going to do is add a, what's it called, action trigger script to this. We're going to make it so when you're standing in here, you have to press, let's say, the primary button to do the X-ray vision, or X-ray magic.
It's my favorite kind of magic.
I think it all shows up in capitals anyway, so don't need to put it all in capitals in there. That one's going to be for X-ray magic, and then we'll actually do a smaller trigger which will turn on the light as well. So it's going to be the light trigger. In fact, we can already take the light setup that we've got, can't we? Here's one we made before. If we take this light trigger and actually make that a child of this X-ray room. And maybe let's build out a bit of a wall so there's like a button next to this or something. Just so it looks like there's actually something to press here. Oh, what's it called? Switch? Is that the button? Yep. Cool. And then with this light trigger, let's actually bring across our light from before as well. I know a street lamp might look a bit weird in this room, but we're going to go with it. In fact, let's create a locator in here that's got a few lights as a child so that we can go through all those different lights. Nice interview room, Sean.
Yep. What was the crime? Who will know?
So first of all, I'm going to use one of the light meshes, which is from the space pack, the Sci-Fi Colonies asset pack, which is a really nice mesh just for simple lighting. Let's flip that over. Bury that a little bit into the wall. And we'll create a child light of that, which is going to be quite like that actually. What is going on? Okay. So then on the room lights, we want to add the other new script that we made, which was called the state switcher.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. There's no properties that we need to set up on that, but what we need to do is find this light trigger and tell that it's going to be looking, no, it's not going to look for itself. It's going to look for the state switcher on the room lights, and it's going to toggle just for the player, I think. This main room trigger actually. Should we make that so you don't have to hold the button down? So if you just press it, it's just going to toggle.
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, we don't have our X-ray wall yet.
I'm busy doing more important things, like giving the fish a speech bubble.
You have to. Okay, right. I'm going to just extract this wall. Take this wall here. Extract. So that is now a separate voxel mesh. I'm going to fill that in with a different type of voxel so we can see that is a different thing, but it's going to look like solid iron, so it looks like you can't see through it. Let's give that a better name. Solid wall. Then what we can do, copy and paste this, move that one out of the way for now, and then I'm going to basically make a glass variant of it. So we'll call this glass wall, and we're going to make that one visible. Might need a little bit of changing, but we'll try and make that one visible when we make the other one invisible. Where's glass? Let's call that glass wall. Then I think both of these need a state switcher on them. So I think one change I'm going to make to the state switcher, Sean, is that you can't currently say what state it should start in.
Okay.
So I'm going to make it so that you can do that. So start visible, type equals Boolean, default is true. Whoops. Name equals start collidable, type equals Boolean, default equals true. What we're actually going to do is say, instead of just setting those up when we start, we're going to say self switch visibility to whether or not we've got self.properties.start visible, and then same again for the collision. And on the client in it, I don't actually need to change it because we're going to see it change on the server, so I'm just going to set up those initial values to whatever the properties are there. Cool. So what we want is this glass wall they both want collision on. That is not going to start visible. Whereas the solid wall will start visible, and put that back in place. You see, they're sort of on top of each other at the moment, but when we actually play this, they should never appear in the same space. We should only ever see one or the other. I'm going to make it so when you press that, it's going to find the glass wall, and it's going to find the solid wall. With the glass wall, it's going to local toggle the visibility. No. Yes. Yes. And with the solid wall, it's going to do exactly the same, local toggle visibility. I think that should work, actually. What do you think, Sean? Is your interview ready?
Yep. It's a productive use of their time.
Why has he got a bin bag behind him? Oh, that's too many questions. Okay. Have we set up so it turns on the room lights? Did I remember to do that? I think I did, yeah. Let's see what happens. Bit of trial and error here. So if you run into here, Sean. Where are you? So you'll see it's just a solid metal wall, but we've got a prompt there. Press left click for X-ray magic. Oh, it says 2 for X-ray magic. Okay, maybe we should change that prompt a little bit. If I press that. Oh, hey! So we've got the glass wall show up instead. Looks like a room that could use some ventilation. The fish is still alive, I think.
Yeah,
So,
the fish is happy. He's tough. He's a tough cop. Bones
Oh,
are there, can't mess him.
I realized I did the wrong thing with the lights because they're on by default. I should have turned them off by default. So you'll see now, if I go into the trigger by the light as well, we've actually got both prompts showing up. We can still do our X-ray magic on that trigger, but at the same time we can press E. Grr, it's on by default, so I can't turn it on. Okay, let's go back and make sure that's off by default. Is not going to start visible. Okay, so there, I've actually gone a bit overkill. I've got rid of the light meshes as well, but I'm sure that's fine. Then when I press E, damn!
Wow.
Why isn't it turning on the light?
Maybe
What?
I need to do it. No, I don't need to do it.
What have I done wrong here?
Look, how can the fish interrogate the skeleton when he can't see?
Yeah. Okay, should we go and check what we've done wrong with our packages, and then we'll try and wrap this all up. So that trigger, which is the light trigger, when you press, we're going to tell the room lights to toggle for player. I think that's correct. Interact. Just remembered actually that we wanted a better message there. So potentially I'm doing something wrong in the action trigger script for when there's multiple triggers on top of each other. No, sorry, the player action script. You see what I'm doing wrong, Sean?
This is quite complicated for me.
Oh no. What have I done wrong?
It looks like it should be okay.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it worked before, right? Works on my machine, TM.
Let me just add a print to check this. Button pressed. Telling trigger, and we'll get the name of the trigger out as well. Button and T get name. What's the keystroke for the search that Adam did to find those scripts? Oh, so you can find any script by pressing Control O, and then you can just filter here for any script, action trigger script, which we've already got. So Control O is the one that you want there, Echo Rock. Sean, let's give this a quick go. See
Go
where
for it.
where I've been stupid.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I see the lights.
Well, you're not going to see them.
Oh.
Why?
What does the
Oh, I
thing say?
didn't do a printf, but we can see that interact is going to light trigger. It's telling it to do its thing. That's really weird. Why would that not work? Stop running circles around me.
Let's have a look at what that script is.
Let's do it. Okay. So that print should have been a print F, but never mind. That part is working. So perhaps it's the state switcher script. When we say local toggle visibility, that should all be working as expected. Sean, what have I done wrong?
Everything looks okay. Obviously it's not, but it looks okay.
Let me just check if it is a problem with having triggers on top of each other. I'm going to move the light trigger out of the room. Let's try that. Well, I can't imagine it's that.
But where did he go?
Nope. Don't understand. I'm so confused.
Womp.
The room lights. State switcher
Ooh,
script.
there's an error on action trigger script
Is there?
on 22. Oh wait, unless that's just pure timing, because maybe it happened just as we either started or stopped.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's
never
it
mind, that's probably
expecting?
expecting use data, and it's like, oh yeah, phone nothing. Okay, that's red herring.
Oh yeah, that's probably just because, yeah, it happened exactly as we were coming back. Okay. You know what? We might have to move on for now. But I'm... Tell me where you hit the body. No. I'm still kind of perplexed by that.
It's
What?
an enigma for the ages. What crime did he commit?
Yeah, what crime did he commit?
What rank in the police force of the fish?
I don't
Who
think
knows?
we necessarily need to make this a template that comes with this package because it's not working at the moment, but I will try and work out after the stream why that didn't work because I'm very, very confused. So we've made 2 new packages today, Sean. Shall we... Well, we haven't yet. Shall we get those packaged up?
I should. I'll package up this house.
Okay, fine. But that's not going in the packages that I'm making today.
Okay.
So, what did we do first? What did we do?
We did
Oh, the action trigger.
leaderboard. Right, that's what
So,
we did, right? Anything else?
no, we did the action trigger and then we did the state switcher.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to create just a very default action trigger template so that I can put that into the package. Script, action trigger script. Press interact to do stuff is what that's going to say. Create new template of action trigger. And then if I go to my player as well, just a sec. Then the player action script folder, I also want to be a template, so I can just put that straight into the package. Player action. Okay. So let's say create a new package and let's find those 2 things. Action. What shall I say in this, Sean? A simple, easy package to simply do easy things
Yeah.
easily.
Make sure you say easy at least 4 times.
Okay. A simple, I'm just going to say simple, just once, to allow events to be triggered. No. Why is this the hardest part trying to
What?
describe a package?
Worse than naming of variables.
To be triggered by players who are in a trigger. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Maybe I'll come up with a better description later, but for now, that'll have to do. So that's the action trigger. Then, the other thing we want is the state switcher, which I think is literally just one script, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice and simple.
But I'm going to include with that the local handler package because that's quite necessary for it.
Mm-hmm.
State switcher script to allow changing visibility on, or collision, sorry, on an entity and all children, including visibility on one client. So let's just give that the state switcher script. And let's make sure we get the local handler in there as well. If I drag that in, we should see that that adds a dependency to the local handler package as well. So anytime you bring in state switcher, that's going to give you the local handler. And let's create that package. Cool. Now I should make sure to get those written up later on as well, to make sure it's as easy as possible to use them, and I will investigate why this little interview room wasn't quite working. Let's just appreciate the artwork that Sean's put into this room.
Yeah. When you publish a package, make sure that comes with it. It's an essential part of it.
It is not coming with it, I'm afraid. Package is already gone.
Oh.
Cool. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this package stream. I hope it's been useful for you. It was a little bit code heavy, I'll admit, but hopefully you've learned a thing or two there that you didn't know before. I know that EchoRock has learnt Control O will help you find and open scripts, which is quite a handy feature. So you've been watching Crayta. Crayta is a collaborative and accessible game creation platform that's on Stadia, free with any Stadia Pro account, or you can purchase it separately. If you want to join any of our social media channels and you're not there currently, check the video description for some of those links. And Russ is now adding some of those links into the chat as well, so that you can go check out those if you're not already in our Discord or following our Twitter. Is it this week that we're hosting the Sci-Fi Game Jam? I'm not sure when that ends.
Yeah, yes, until the 12th or 14th. I should really have this information on hand.
Okay. We will send a link through as well, because we are currently hosting the Sci-Fi Game Jam within Crayta. So at the end of that, we're going to see hopefully a whole bunch of really cool sci-fi games. That's a slightly longer game jam than the previous one that we hosted as well. So a little bit more chance to show off a bit more creativity. And it would be really awesome to use some of these retention packages that we've shown today. So the achievements, the XP system, and the global leaderboard system, which has been going down really well on Discord. We will see you on Thursday for another stream at 7 PM BST. Thank you for watching.
Bye.